up really early and I don't want to wake anybody in the house up. So here we go. Oh, I happened to watch a video on YouTube on using actual Sinew fletch arrows. I actually found one and the fellow did a really good job of it. So I could do it, that's the way I do it, but I don't want to, why repeat anything that's been done really well? So if you look up fletching primitive arrows with Sinew, you're going to find a video where he explains it really well. I will add one part though. He was using backstrap, which is longer than the leg tendons. And when you're doing the spiral fletching, spiral around the fletching, you're going to need longer. You can actually just tie these shorter leg tendons together with a knot. When you chew them, don't get the knots wet though, because wet Sinew is really slippery and it'll pull out. It's not necessary to have the entire strand. Usually you have to tie 2 knots, get 3 strands up for leg Sinew to do a spiral in the fletching. 2 knots, and when you chew them, just don't get your knots wet. So, before I start on this, I still have to wait for the hide glue to warm up. This is hide glue, not Sinew glue. I haven't gotten around to simmering my Sinew scraps, so I'm using hide glue, just powdered stuff, not knobs. This is a bow that's being ready to be Sinew bagged, and it's been sized. It's on my form. I can slide it back and forth. First of all, before I show you mummy bow, and then the one piece of information that I have not seen on YouTube, so I'm about to show you some original stuff that I have never seen or even heard other people doing before, so stay with me. The first step is, of course, to make a bunch of little bundles, and you have them spread around here so you can grab them with gluey fingers. And again, let me reiterate again over and over, let's see how redundant I can be, is when you're breaking them into bundles, bad, this one's smaller than this one. To have a fine Sinew layer, each one of those little bundles needs to be the same size and thickness. Not length, it doesn't matter about length, but in thickness. So, except for the edge bundles, which may be different. I'm not going to do different edge bundles on this, they're all going to be the same. Practice making all your bundles the same thickness. And by bundles, I mean the little ones that you're going to glue to the bow. I do it first on the center. I center this one, then overlapping it down the center, and then I'm going to have one on either side, and then I'm going to have the edge bundles. On these, because I am going to offer them at a reasonable cost, hopefully wholesale, and I probably won't be selling these retail. If I was to do a $350, $400 Sinew bagged bow, I'm going to be really careful when I do it, and so I have a very fine Sinew bundle, and I would do the edges first. On this, I can do a very good job, you know, just starting in the center, then one on either side, and then the edge bundles. I can get a pretty good edge. But when I'm doing a stave-made bow that's I'm going to sell for, you know, over $300 at least, I'm going to do fine work. That Sinew is going to be faultless without separations in there. I'm going to do a really fine job on the fancy applique work, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, you can watch numerous videos on people laying the Sinew on the bow, so I'm not going to repeat that. Okay. This is what a bow looks like after the Sinew layer has been applied after about an hour, after it loses a little bit of tackiness. Mummy bow. This one's on deck. This one has passed its mummy stage. And first of all, let me step up here. I'll just do this. That's Sinew is so beautiful. It creates almost a living looking thing. You know, animal products on the back. And that black, although it's a garbage bag, I think that's pretty tricky. Okay, so I took my mummy bow, unwrapped it, let it dry until the back, it's not cured yet, but it's hard and it does not give. This is shrunk down probably to within microns of its final thickness. So it is safe to wrap the tips and the handle section. Don't wrap them as soon as you get that fresh Sinew on, or it's going to lift off. And again, this is the only place I sand. The back is where I'm going to have wraps over it, so instead of having, when you're looking lengthwise at the bow, these gaps between the sinew, and there always will be slight, I want it flat so that wrap stays. I'm going to save this a little bit for last here. And so, after the back's hard, dried, not fully cured, but dried and shrunk down, I'm going to sand where it is. Then I'm going to just take water, wet the areas, over and over again until it reactivates that glue. Then I'm going to size it again. And then, using Sinew, not all at once, but I use thin bundles and kind of build it up. And this is not shrunk down and dry. A constant ring right there, and then I'll usually do a spiral to the tips and then wrap the tips. And then I'll follow it up with strips of garbage bags, so it's not drying. It's going to dry from the inside out, really. The wetness on my wrap is going to be absorbed into the back, which will really reinvigorate that sinew backing and the glue. And again, this is going to shrink down a little bit. That's fresh. I just unwrapped it. It's going to actually melt into the surface, so you're not going to have a back and then separate wraps. The wraps are going to melt into the back. Oh, let's see here. Get this all over. And then I'm going to show you something tricky before I unwrap the other tip. Boink. I like that. A band. I don't need to do the whole handle. I'm going to have, I don't know what kind of hand grip, maybe a rawhide stitch or sinew. Wrap, and then a spiral on there, just to separate myself. Now while this is wrapped, you can take a coffee mug and you can just rub it or roll it, and it's going to give you a nice clean surface. It doesn't need to be sanding to look nice. You don't want to look at your wraps and see big bumps on the side. At least I don't. And on this, I want to have a little bit of the flavor, of a handmade bow, so I'm not going to measure or mark with a pencil. I just use fingers. That's 3 fingers from that constriction to there. And if it's off a millimeter or whatever, it doesn't matter. Just adds character. And there we go. Just give a little close-up. Sinew is such a beautiful thing. And I don't mind giving away, some of the things that I've learned on my own, like wrapping this with plastic bags and how to get the wraps to stick, because as bow makers, I would say our first responsibility is to learn our craft, learn it well, and the second one is to pass on our knowledge. If you went back in time 50 years, these style of bows were probably dying out, but there's a huge resurgence in them, and a lot of that reason why these are living again is because people are willing to share their knowledge. So, that's it. I'll start doing this. It looks like it's hot. I better get to work. I plan on doing 3 or 4 sinew-backed bows a week. It's another reason I'm not worried about giving away trade secrets, is it's a lot of work, and you don't run into people that are silly enough to make 3 or 4 sinew-backed bows a week. Goodbye, and have a great day.